How does a man chosen by God end up destroying his own life? A man with strength no warrior could match. Yet he was his own worst enemy. The greatest battles he faced weren't with lions or armies. They were fought in his heart. This is the story of Samson. Long ago in Israel, the people were living under the heavy hand of the Philistines, a powerful enemy nation that ruled over them for 40 years. Israel cried out, and God was already preparing a deliverer. But this time, the rescue would begin before the child was even born. In a small town lived a woman who had never been able to have children. One day, an angel of the Lord appeared to her with astonishing news. "You will conceive and give birth to a son. He will be set apart to God from birth, and he will begin to deliver Israel from its enemy." This child would not live an ordinary life. He would be a Nazirite, dedicated to God in a special way. He would never cut his hair, never drink wine, never touch anything unclean. His life would be a living symbol of devotion, and his name would be Samson. As Samson grew, it became clear that God's hand was upon him. The Spirit of the Lord would come powerfully over him, and when it did, Samson displayed strength beyond imagination. From a gifted child, he began to rise into the man God had set apart. One day, while traveling through vineyards, a young lion suddenly attacked him. But Samson grabbed the lion and tore it apart with his bare hands. Later, when he passed the same place again, he found something strange. Bees had made a hive inside the lion's carcass. Honey filled the body of the dead animal. Samson reached inside and ate the honey. He even shared some with his parents, without telling them where it came from. But this moment mattered. Because under the Nazirite vow, Samson was not supposed to touch a dead body. His downfall may have started here, with a small compromise. In time, Samson's life took a sharp turn. He chose a woman from the Philistine town of Timnah to be his wife. At the wedding feast, he challenged 30 Philistine men with a riddle. If they could solve it, he would give them 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. But if they failed, they would owe him the same. This wasn't just a game. It was Samson flexing his strength and his superiority. He said, "Out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet." The riddle referred to the lion and the honey. 3 days passed. Still no answer. So the men threatened Samson's bride, saying they would burn her and her father's household unless she found the secret. Terrified, she begged Samson until he finally told her. She then revealed the answer to the Philistines. Samson knew he had been betrayed. Furious, he left, paid his wager, and returned home. Later, Samson returned for his wife and found something shocking. Her father had given her to another man. This made the conflict even worse. In revenge, Samson captured 300 foxes. He tied them together in pairs, tail to tail. Then he fastened burning torches between them. At night, he released them into the fields of the Philistines. The animals ran wildly through the farmland. Fire spread through the wheat, the vineyards, and the olive groves. Entire harvests were destroyed. The Philistines retaliated with brutal revenge. They burned Samson's wife and her father alive, the very fate she had once feared. The conflict spiraled into war. The Philistines came to capture Samson, but in that moment, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him. He picked up the jawbone of a donkey and struck down 1,000 men, one man, one weapon, an entire army defeated. Yet Samson's greatest weakness was never strength. It was his heart. And eventually, that weakness led him to a woman named Delilah. Samson fell in love with her. The Philistine rulers saw their opportunity. They offered Delilah a fortune to discover the source of Samson's power. Again and again she asked him, "Tell me the secret of your great strength." 3 times he misled her. 3 times she tested him. Finally, worn down by her persistence, Samson revealed the truth. No razor has ever touched my head. If my hair is cut, my strength will leave me. That night, as he slept on her lap, Delilah called for a servant to cut away his 7 braids. When Samson awoke, he thought he could fight as before. But the Lord's strength had left him. The Philistines seized him. They gouged out his eyes, and they bound him in chains. The once mighty warrior was reduced to grinding grain in a prison. But the story was not over. In the darkness of prison, Samson's hair began to grow again. And perhaps for the first time in his life, he truly humbled himself before God. One day, the Philistines gathered in their great temple to celebrate. They praised their false god, claiming victory over Samson. They brought him out to entertain them, blind, weak, and humiliated. Standing between the 2 central pillars of the temple, Samson prayed, "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Strengthen me just once more." God heard him. With one final surge of strength, Samson pushed against the pillars. The temple collapsed. In that moment, Samson defeated more Philistines in his death than in his life, and Israel's deliverance had begun. Samson's story isn't one of perfection. It's a story of calling, compromise, consequence, and redemption. It shows that true strength isn't found in ability, but in surrender, because God works through the humble, not the impressive. And the book of Judges ends with a haunting truth. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. That might sound familiar. Our world echoes the same refrain. Everyone choosing their own way, everyone defining their own truth. And Samson's story reminds us what can happen when strength is guided by desire instead of faithfulness. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe and join us again as we bring more moments from Scripture to life.